Hey my ordinary anglers, welcome. Haven't been on in a while. Hope you're having a great fishing season. It's been a real interesting year, and I'm kind of having to come out and do a video I'm not exactly crazy about, but it's an important video. It's about people and how they treat people, because I love everybody. I ain't against anybody. But I have to tell you a story that you're gonna have to make your own mind up about. And I will say this: I've been fishing since the late 70s. I've been fishing many tournaments over many years through different bass clubs. Weekly County Bass Club, FedEx Bass Club, was the president of that at one time. The Fayette County Bass Club, and life member of BASS. And I'm a stickler for the rules. And last year, I started my dream of fishing 3 Bassmaster Opens. And they didn't go as planned. And, you know, life doesn't let you do things as they're planned many times. So, with that being said, recently, a person that I had an interaction with got disqualified from a BASS Open, and his name is Keith Poche. Now, I've watched Keith Poche. I've never had any issues with Keith Poche, none at all. I've watched his videos. I remember the tournament. I think it was an MLF tournament where he caught a fish, a huge bass, over 7 pounds, I believe it was, and over a dock, and it was fun to watch. He seemed like a guy, and I watched a video where he was a BASS tournament where he was fishing at Ross Barnett, fishing the spinnerbait. Never have any issues with any angler on the water ever. Well, the rules are the rules, folks. Now, jumping over a levee, come on, let's all get realistic now. We all know that's but here's the deal. You got a devil on one side and you got the angel on the other, and the devil's saying, jump that levee, go ahead, jump that levee. And the angel's over there saying, you know, you might ought to call the tournament director and check to see that it's okay to jump that levee. Okay, now the risk is what? You jump that levee, could be a bad situation for you. Well, that ended up happening to Keith Poche. So I'm sitting here watching Randy Blockett's video and another tournament fisherman's video, YouTube video, and I can't take it any longer. I blow up. And now I'm going to tell you why I blew up. I was fishing my second BASS tournament. Second BASS tournament ever in my life at the Red River. Me and my friend from Louisiana, James Simmons at the time, met me there at the Red River Marina. And we found, and you'll see pictures of it. the fish he caught were the fish it would end up spending 60 to 70% of my time in that BASS Open fishing there. We found it. He caught, you'll see the pictures, not some nice fish. And you know, when you have to fish behind James, he don't leave a lot because he's a really good fisherman. So you better be, if you're in the back of the boat with him, you better be pretty good. And he had about 12 pounds that day. Nice fish. So that's that part of it. So I knew where I was going to fish in the BASS Open. I was in you'll see video with me in that area, and it's day one. All right, in your top right, you're going to see the gap. And you see the north side of the entrance where the rock jetty wall is. I caught a short fish there, and later Keith caught his, I believe, a keeper there. But now granted, the last time I saw Keith Poche, he was in a fiberglass boat. I have not watched any videos of him, and I stayed watching Scott Martin and Canterbury and Airy and some other people, but I never knew he had a YouTube channel. So anyhow, I'm fishing in that area, in that spot, and I look over and there an aluminum boat pulls in with two people in it. And so I'm trolling towards it. And Keith, I didn't know it was Keith. I didn't know who it was. But come to find out it was Keith, and the guy asked me, he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I said, "Fine." He asked me where I was from. I said, "I'm from Tennessee." And I turned around and I said, "Hey, how are you doing?" I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Louisiana." And then the next comment was, "You want to get in the boat with me?" And I kind of took me aback because I was about, I don't know, 50, 60 feet from him. I was trolling to be where he was eventually because I had caught a non-keeper where he caught his keeper. For the record. Now you're going to see a Google Earth photograph of the area where me and James fish. You're going to see two red X's on the left, right there close together. That's where I caught a short fish, and that is where Keith caught his keeper fish, I believe. The others, two X's on up from there, is where James and I caught fish all up and down. James mainly caught fish on that rock, inside of that rock wall. So I turned around and went back the opposite direction. I went back the opposite direction, and so fishing hard. It was a terrible place to fish. It was tough conditions all around. Not big weights. You had to fight for anything you got on the Red River. It's just not a good place. Not a good place for me to have, say, for having a tournament. Well, so he left. I said, okay. I had trolled back down there, and I wanted to go back to where I was going to go, where he was. He's gone, right? So I turn around and I troll back where I just came down through, and guess what? I get over there to the cut where he had been. Well, apparently he had just went across the river. I didn't know that. Now, get in mind now, I don't know who this guy is. In an aluminum boat, He had a tournament jersey on with Fenwick on it. I didn't know. It's only my second BASS Open ever. Okay, so here he comes, and he pulls up and he says, "You know what? You're the problem with people in bass fishing. People like you." And I'm kind of, and he doesn't stop there. It's the people like you are terrible for the sport of bass fishing, and you know, you saw where I caught that fish. Well, yeah, I did. I saw you, but you left. Right? Left? Like, left. So, he reads me the riot act on the water, berating me, which I've never had done before, and says these things in front of somebody, and then says, I need to stick with fishing club tournaments. That went over really well. So, I'm fired up. I didn't give in and have it. I didn't throw an exchange. I don't think I hardly said anything because I was in shock. So I got back to the tournament director. These are things that Keith isn't aware of. He didn't know I'd caught a fish where he caught his fish, except mine was a short fish. See, these are the things he's not aware of, and assuming will get you into trouble. And breaking the rules will get you into trouble. So I get back and I talk to the tournament director, Hank, well, and I told him what had happened. And I told him I've been pre-fishing there for days. I'd fished there in August to practice before the tournament. I said, and explained what went down. By that time I knew it was Keith Poche because others had told me who it was in that boat. Hank Weldon's response was, I want to protest, and you know, it could possibly DQ him or disqualify him. And I looked at him and Keith doesn't know this. I told him and said that, no, Hank, all I want is for him to apologize. Everybody is out here trying to make a living for their family. I said, I don't want that. All I want is him to say, hey, understand, maybe he's out of line. I should stop and think a minute and apologize to me. Well, of course I knew his co-angler was going to stick up for him. You know, I already anticipated that. But no apology. No, I just shouldn't have said those things I said to you. Nothing like that. So I've had a burr under my saddle, okay, with Keith Poche. And then when I start hearing he gets disqualified for jumping a freaking levee, right? And all these people on YouTube or whatever are poor Keith, poor pitiful, poor me. You're against the small man. No, I'm against anyone breaking the rules. Okay? It's like Gerald Swindell said on his YouTube video. There's a rule book. You read the rule book. You sign the rule book. Everybody does it. You know, the thing you got to understand is, if you think that something's wrong with what you're doing, you have the phone number of the tournament director, right? The tournament director gives his phone number out to call in case of any situation, emergency or otherwise. So anyhow, that's the story. And then that brings into this question, what is do you own the lake? What is the etiquette? Normally, no one goes pulling in on somebody. Yeah, granted, I was about 100 yards from him when he pulled into to the area I was fishing. And then after all that, come to find out, on that same tournament, the Red River, somebody put rocks in front of the ditch that he was having to go through to get to where he was fishing. Now, after my interaction with Keith, I get to thinking on the way home, now why on earth would someone do that? Someone had to know, right? Somebody had to know where he was fishing, and I don't condone that at all. That's messed up. I said, but maybe if that's the, I got to thinking, well, if that's the way he treats everybody else on the water, like he treated me, well, maybe that's why there's someone putting rocks in the ditch to keep you from getting where you're at. I don't know what bridges he may have burned. I don't know. I try to get along with everybody. All I ever wanted was an apology. So that's the story of the Red River. It was already a disaster to begin with where it was at, and you know, finding out that another place where I caught fish was off limits was not cool either. Come to find out, that was another thing. So anyway, you'll see in the video, you'll see the pictures, you'll see the video where I was fishing, you'll see the overhead of where I was fishing, and you'll understand the scenario. I don't lie, I don't make up stuff. I've been bass fishing for 40 years plus. And I have fished every kind of tournament except BASS until now, and I'm a life member, and I wish people luck. Hey, it's hard to win. It's hard to compete. These guys are in this sport are very talented, young men, old men, but a lot of people, bottom line, you know, you can like me or lump me, but I'm just telling you the truth before anything comes out otherwise. So you know the real story, and that's the way it happened. And I'm sure Keith doesn't know that I said that to Hank, and I'm sure that he doesn't know that I had put all that time in that spot and in August and over the course of the time, and that he just pulls in, catches a keeper and leaves, and that's fine. That's not the problem. Is how you acted toward another fellow angler on the water when you were out of line. And that's the purpose of this video. And in case someone decides to put out some other video, I welcome it. Go ahead, because I'm telling the truth, and the truth matters, and I ain't never ever had any issue with an angler on the water before. So this is your ordinary angler. You can decide and comment, like and subscribe. Take your comments. I can take it, but I can promise you I was well within my rights, according to the tournament director, to fish where I was fished. He told me, he said, nobody should keep you from fishing the place you were fishing. He said, you have all rights to that water. And I said, yeah, but I just didn't understand why somebody was screaming at me on the water about how I'm bad for bass fishing, and how I need to stick to club tournaments and those kind of things. It just was, to me, inappropriate, because I actually liked Keith and never heard before that, and watched some of his stuff, but I never anticipated anybody berating me on the water like that, and it is stuck in my craw ever since then. And then to see all this poor pitiful me stuff about him getting DQ'd at Toledo Bend just brought it back to the surface. But you'll see the pictures, you'll see the video, and I want to tell the truth to the community and the bass fishing anglers out there, my side of it, in case he decides to put out his side, which you'll see. I'll show you the message, inappropriate message he sent me, somewhat threatening me, and you'll see that too. That'll be included. Anyway, this is your ordinary angler. I'm about fairness, equality, truth, and going by the rules. And if you think you're breaking a rule in a tournament, don't do it. You might end up DQ'd. Have a good day. Good luck on the water. Tight lines. Love everybody. Have a great fishing year.